My name's Scott Robinson. I'm the Director of Human Resources and Administration for Bally Corporation. We'd like to talk to you today about a subject called sexual harassment discrimination within the workplace. Hopefully this tape will help answer some questions and educate you about sexual harassment discrimination and what it is. Ralph Morris is a law partner with Seyfarth Shaw, Fairweather & Geraldson, and is a keynote speaker to certain personnel groups and law firms. Sue Cisar is the Human Resources Coordinator and will help explain the policy that we've put into place, and you can follow along with the handout that you've received to go along with this tape. If you have any questions after watching this tape, please don't hesitate to call Sue or myself. You never know when you might be asked to be called upon to be a defendant or be someone who's implicated for a sexual harassment case. If your employees ever raise questions to you about sexual harassment or someone bothering them on the job, please don't hesitate to call Sue Cisar immediately.
Hi, my name is Ralph Morris. As Scott has already told you, I'm here today to discuss sexual harassment discrimination with you. Sexual harassment discrimination is a very serious problem. To give you an idea of the seriousness of the problem, in a 1976 Red Book magazine poll, 88% of the 9,000 women who responded to the poll said that they had been the victims of sexual harassment discrimination at some time at the workplace. Sexual harassment discrimination is also a very serious problem for the alleged harassee. It can cause problems on the job, and it can also cause problems in their personal life. Finally, sexual harassment discrimination is a very serious problem for your employer, Bally's Aladdin's Castle. And that's why Sue and I are here today to discuss the problem with you. There is a federal law which outlaws both sex discrimination generally and also sexual harassment discrimination. Also, almost every state has a law which outlaws sexual harassment discrimination. Now, what exactly is sexual harassment? In the handout you've all been provided, we have duplicated the EEOC definition of sexual harassment. The EEOC is the federal government agency that is charged with investigating sexual harassment complaints. We have also included in the handout the Bally's Aladdin's Castle policy on sexual harassment, which Sue will be describing. This policy also contains a definition of sexual harassment, which has been taken in large part from the EEOC definition. Basically, there are two kinds of sexual harassment. The first, the courts have called quid pro quo harassment. This kind of harassment describes a management official conditioning some sort of employment benefit, promotion or further job assignments, on the granting of sexual favors. We thought we'd provide you with two illustrations of this kind of quid pro quo harassment.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Good. How are you, Jim?
Pretty good. How's business been?
Well,
Hey, I see you got a private party and 3 birthdays for this weekend. That's great.
yes, my revenues have been up for the last few months.
You know, I knew I made the right decision when I made you the store manager for this location. And if you play your cards right, you might progress a lot faster in the company.
I really would like to be considered for that.
Well, tell you what. Later on tonight, about 8, we'll go to your apartment. I'll bring over a bottle of wine, and we'll discuss your future with the company.
Jim, I don't think that's a good idea. You know what happened the last time. I'll be willing to stay here as long as you'd like. Sue will be coming in just a few minutes, and we can discuss it then.
Now, Lisa, this is the way the program runs in this company. We do things my way. We don't stay in the store after hours and discuss the business. I'd rather go back to your apartment, have the bottle of wine, and discuss your future, if you know what I mean.
Hi, Jim.
Oh, hi, Kath. I'm glad you came in early today. There's something I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh, really? What?
A friend of mine, Bob's, having a party Friday night, and I switched the schedule so Sally's going to work your hours, and you'll be able to go to the party with me.
I thought I told you already. I already have a new boyfriend. I can't go to parties with you.
Now, wait a minute, Kath. When I hired you, I got you the job here, and the agreement was we'd see each other during hours and after hours.
Yeah, but I can't. I have a boyfriend, and I don't want to go to the party with you.
Okay, you can count on working Friday night and maybe Saturday night, and I'll talk to Sally. Maybe Sally's more interested, and maybe Sally wants the nice little hours.
The second kind of sexual harassment discrimination is called hostile environment discrimination. This kind of discrimination does not involve a management official directly conditioning employment benefits on sexual favors, but the employee feels so threatened by the hostile environment that they do not have to put up with it. In most of these cases, the employee quits their job and then claims that they should receive back pay because they were forced to quit by the sexual harassment that existed in the environment at the workplace. We thought we'd also give you a couple of illustrations of this kind of sexual harassment discrimination.
Nelson, do you have any change for me?
Oh, how you doing, Lisa? What do you think about this lady with these legs here?
Why would I like a picture of a half-naked woman?
Oh, well, your leg's just as good as hers. What's the matter?
I just don't like it.
Oh, hold on a second. You got a button loose here. Let me help you here.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know.
What's the matter, Nelson? You look kind of tired.
Yeah, I'm kind of beat, man. These games, I tell you, today and yesterday, I don't know about this anymore.
Oh, yeah, maybe you need one of my rub-downs.
Oh, that
You're
feels
kind
good.
of muscular.
Yeah.
Work out?
No, not really. Not
No?
really. Now and then, nothing on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah. Did you watch the Johnny Carson show last night?
No,
Oh, there was this comedian on, and he told this joke about this guy that goes into a female doctor. Female doctor asks him to drop his pants, and then she says,
Wow. Jeez.
We realize that because of our culture, almost all of the sex harassment charges and complaints that have been filed by female employees against male managers. However, we thought we'd include one illustration that portrayed a female manager instead of a male manager. Now what we'd like to do while they're fresh in your mind is point out some of the situations that we illustrated for you. We wanted to point out the kinds of issues that have frequently come up in these sex harassment complaints so that you can be aware of your conduct and how it might affect your fellow employees and think about the things you do at the workplace. It has become quite common in some companies for both males and females to post pictures at their workplace of individuals of the opposite sex or cartoons having sexual innuendo. There is obviously a wide variety of material that is posted, from calendars with women in bathing suits, such as we illustrated, to pictures containing actual nudity. The problem with this is you as a manager may not realize that something that you think is appropriate to post in your office may seem offensive to a store attendant who also has to use the same office. Scott and Sue and I have discussed this issue of postings, and we feel that you must exercise great caution in the kinds of things you post in your office. Think about the other individuals that have to use that office and what their reaction to the postings may be. Also, area managers and regional managers should pay attention to what is posted in the various locations, and if they find something that they feel is offensive, they should remove it and talk to the local store manager about the posting. It also does not have to be a posting. You should also be concerned about magazines that you might have in the location that are off color and may be seen by other individuals that work at that particular location. Another point we purposely included in the illustration was a manager making an off-color or racy remark to a fellow employee. These can be remarks about their body or their clothing. You may make these remarks in jest and believe that the employee is taking them as a joke, but they may not have the same reaction. If a complaint is eventually filed claiming sexual harassment after somebody is discharged, for example, even for a very good reason, these comments or remarks that you have made may be brought up in a complaint against you and the company for sexual harassment. As you will recall, we included in the one illustration the touching of an employee by a manager. This kind of touching by a manager is often one factor that is brought up in sexual harassment complaints. While we realize some psychologists have written books on the merits of hugging individuals, this kind of touching at the workplace can be a problem. The problem is oftentimes employees will not communicate to you their dislike of any touching at the workplace. Therefore, we strongly suggest that you steer clear of any physical contact with your fellow employees at the workplace. Another issue that frequently comes up in sexual harassment complaints is a manager having told an employee an off-color or a lewd joke. While we do not want to discourage the telling of a good joke at the workplace or having fun at the workplace, we do want to caution you and tell you to think about a joke or a story before you tell it to a fellow employee. They may not have the same sense of humor that you have, and they may read into an off-color or lewd joke some threat or intimidation that you do not even intend. Oftentimes, sexual harassment cases arise because an individual has had a relationship with someone at the workplace, and the relationship ends and they file an action against both the company and the individual who is their former lover or even just an occasional date. We have discussed this potential and believe that because of this problem, you should avoid developing these kinds of personal relationships at the workplace. There is just too much of a potential for problems if the relationship ends. If that individual is later terminated, even for a very good reason, they may file a complaint against both you and the company, claiming that there is an underlying reason for the termination, and that is the end of the relationship that once existed. One of the defenses that has frequently been raised by employers and managers when claims of sexual harassment have been filed has been the sexually provocative dress of the individual that is filing the claim. You'll recall in one of the illustrations we purposely had the female wear a miniskirt to raise this issue. Obviously, we want people to dress appropriately at the workplace. If you feel you are having a problem with this, with any of your employees, you should feel free to contact Sue Cisar at the corporate office and discuss it. You should do this before you confront the individual and discuss their dress with them, and make certain that you are on solid ground on what you plan to say about the dress that they are wearing. Another issue that frequently has come up in these sex harassment complaints has been coworker harassment as opposed to just manager harassment that we have been discussing. Almost all of the things we have been discussing in the way of harassment by managers could also come up as harassment by coworkers. If you get a comment or a complaint by one of your employees about coworker harassment, again, you should contact Sue Cisar and talk with her about the complaint or comment that was made. Get her advice, and then confront the coworkers about their conduct and take appropriate action. Finally, there can also be issues raised by non-employees engaging in sexual harassment. In the situation of Aladdin's castle, you could have customers that are harassing individual store attendants at times. Again, the conduct could be similar to what we've already outlined for you. If you get that kind of comment or complaint by a store attendant about possible sex harassment by non-employees, again, call Sue Cisar, discuss the situation with her, find out what the conduct is, and a decision will be made as to whether or not particular customers will have to be talked to and put on notice about the conduct that they're engaging in. Now I think it would be appropriate for Sue Cisar to discuss the Bally Aladdin's Castle sexual harassment policy with you.
Hi, my name is Sue Cisar, and I'm the Human Resources Coordinator for Aladdin's Castle. As we have explained to you today, our purpose in this videotape is to educate you on what sexual harassment discrimination is, as well as to give you ideas that you can follow to help stop any problems you may already have in your workplace. We have provided to you a packet of information containing our policy on sexual harassment discrimination and what steps will be followed to an offender. In general, our policy states that it is illegal and against the policies of Bally Aladdin's Castle to sexually harass an employee, male or female, by making unwelcome sexual advances or requests for sexual favors a condition for an employee's continued employment, by making submissions to or rejection of such conduct the basis for employment decisions affecting the employee, creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive working environment by such conduct. You have also been provided with procedures that will be followed in the event a sexual harassment complaint has been made. If you have been sexually harassed, have been accused of harassing someone, or if a coworker has told you about an alleged sexual harassment act, please call me. My purpose here at Bally is to help solve these problems before they get out of hand. Remember, all your phone calls will be kept confidential, and no judgments will be made against anyone until a thorough investigation of all parties involved has been taken place. Also, your phone calls are important to me. No problem can be too big or too small for me to take time out to listen to. Make accessible our toll-free number, 1-800-621-8332. Please read our policy on sexual harassment discrimination and become familiar with it. Our goal here at Bally Aladdin's Castle is to provide a safe and protective environment for all of our employees.
It's a big world we're living in, so many things to see. Who feels fun and leisure times, makes time for feeling free.